Been trying to figure out who this is. I thought it might be like a cousin of Rash or Zitz and Pimples. Remember those guys from Battletoads? Turns out it's their big evil robot brother. Frobot or Frobot. I don't know. Whatever. It's the 9800 GX2 from Pallet. That's right. The company that puts a robot frog on a card. Now, you know, if they're confident enough to put a robot frog on a card, they're going to be confident enough to give you a card that is amazing, because there's nothing more awesome than a robot frog. So anything with a robot frog on it is going to be grade A awesomeness. Now, this is essentially two 8800 GPUs on one big, massive card. Now, how big is this card? I get a lot of emails because people see the videos and they go, my good Lord, that's huge. And I say, thank you. But we're talking about a card. How big is it? Well, here, this is the test right now. It's just about 11 inches long. It's right there. Let me show you right there, guys. From the top to bottom, yeah, just about 11 inches right there. That's counting the bracket. So come back from the bracket. Yeah, around 10.5 to 11 inches. Make sure there's 11 inches in your system there. So that's what it is with the measurements on this massive card. Now let's talk about the specs. Hit the table because that's what I do. All right, it's got a gigabyte of memory. That's 512 per core. Each one of those also has its own 256-bit memory interface, so that doesn't equal 512. It's 256 for each GPU. On top of that, we have 2,000 megahertz memory clock, and that's the 512 megabytes of memory for each GPU. So that's some fast GDDR3 there. Also, the core clock is at 600 megahertz on each one of those, and I believe the shader clock's at 1,500 megahertz. Now, all this together produces a bandwidth of 128 gigabytes per second. That's huge. It's a little bit faster than the 8800 Ultra. It's the fastest single card solution out there. They did break a new performance record for a single card with this card and one of the NVIDIA 790i motherboards. It was one of the, I don't know if it was exactly the Pallet, but hey, it's clocked the same and it runs at the same speed, so that's what I'm talking about. And how fast does it run? Well, you know what? I'm going to compare this one to the 9600 GT because they're the 9 series cards. Let's talk about how fast it is in Unreal Tournament 3 running in Vista. All right, now the 9600 GT Unreal Tournament 3 at 1920 by 1200 with the effects turned on runs at 84 frames per second. Now this card was at 103 frames per second at 1920 by 1200. It's fast. All right, let's talk about Crysis. Now in Crysis, everything on high, not very high, but high, 1600 by 1200. The 9600 runs Crysis at 32 frames a second on high. Now, one of these cards, one of the massive 9800 GX2 cards, 40.7 frames a second, so 8 frames a second better there. But here's what's cool. If you run an SLI, you're getting 60 frames a second in Crysis, 1600 by 1200, running on high. Now at very high, one of these 9800 GX2s is at 25 frames a second. Two of these, running everything on very high, 41 frames per second. So this card, in my opinion, has finally made Crysis playable at the very high setting, and it's for a single card solution to be able to pull off 25 frames a second on very high 1600 by 1200. That's awesome. If you crank it down a little bit, you'll be able to play this game with all the effects turned on. And like I said, I'm not really supposed to talk about the SLI drivers. I said, hey, don't mention the SLI drivers yet. But depending on when you see this video, they might be available. And there's the SLI bridge on the back right there. Now you're only going to be able to run this with 2 GPUs in your system, not 3, because it'll be actually quad. It'll be like quad because it does have 4 GPUs. So it'll be a quad GPU machine that you're building there. On the back we have 2 DVI ports right there. Now we also have HDMI, and that is awesome to have HDMI on board. This supports full HD, so you could be able to get 1080p out of this. Over to your TV, your plasma, whatever. And with these, we have supported resolutions up to 2560 by 1600, and it comes with one of the DVI to VGA converters in the box. So we do have one of those in the box as well. And one other thing that's nice that comes in the box is this Tomb Raider: The Anniversary Edition. So that's kind of cool too. And don't make fun of it. It's a good game. I like this game actually. I think it's a lot of fun. Good for a platform adventure game. I enjoy it. Actually, my wife likes it a lot too. We play that for hours. Well, not too many hours in a row though. A couple hours here and there. That's good. Silence is golden. Did you hear how awesome that was? Did you hear how awesome that was? Okay, that's the end of the video, guys. If you do have questions, click on Q&A at the top of the page. This is the new fastest thing ever. Don't handle it like I handle it, because I'm a beast. I shouldn't be handling things like this. For more information on the Palette GeForce 9800 GX2, go to Tiger Direct and type P458-9800 into the search box, or call us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 1-800-800-8300.